Have you seen this diagram before, anyone?
No, sir.
No. Yes. So the thing, I will define the problem statement. There are three stands. That means stand 1, stand 2, and stand 3, on which a set of discs each will different diameter are placed. That was mentioned as in the stand 1. That is A. That was mentioned in the figure. So three stands. In the figure it was 4 stand, but we are going with the problem of 3 stands. So in the stand 1, stand 2, and stand 3 will be there, and 3 different discs will be there, which it will be a different in it will be a different diameters. Fine. So what we want to do is, initially the discs are stacked on stand 1 in order of size, which the largest disc at the bottom. So largest disc will be in the bottom and smallest disc will be in the top. So this will be the question for you. So what we want to do is, you want to shift the disc from A stand to C stand. Clear? Yes?
Sir.
You want to go with the message or what? So the thing, you just imagine that you having a 3 stand, that is A, B, and C, and you having a disk of 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever it may be. So number of discs will be there, and the disk will be, the largest disk will be in the bottom and smallest disk will be in the top. So this is the condition, and what we want to do is, we want to shift the disk from A stand to C stand. Fine. So this is the problem for you. You want to shift the disk, whatever disk they are giving, you want to shift those disks from A stand to C stand. So that is a problem, and there are some of the rules for doing this problem. That is, move only one disk at a time. You want to move only one disk at a time. A larger disk cannot be placed on the top of the smaller disk. So larger disk want to be in the bottom side. It won't be placed in the top of the smaller disk, and all disks except the one being moved should be on the stand. So these are the 3 conditions. Are we clear about these conditions? Yes. Yes, the simple thing, only one disk you want to move from A stand to C stand, and the largest disk cannot be placed on the top of the smaller disk. The larger disk want to be in a bottom side, and smaller disk want to be in a top side. And third condition, it will be all disks except the one being moved should be on the stand. So if you are taking one particular disk and remaining disk one should be in the stand, we we won't take 1 or 2 discs in a time, and you can't shift the disk from A stand to C stand. So these are the 3 conditions you are going to follow over here. And the board is visible now?
Yes, sir.
Yes. I'm not getting the board. Yes. So you just think of this. So this is the whatever the things we are giving, this 1, this 2, and this 3. This is the stand 1, and this is the stand 2, and this is the stand 3. This stand 1 will represent as source. Source, it may be, it consists of a disk, and this auxiliary part will represent the intermediate between the 2 disks, and this will be the destination. So what you want to do is, you want to transfer 1, 2, and 3 to the destination. So this is the concept. And first of all, I will
Sir, voice not clear, sir.
yes, what?
Voice is not
clear, sir.
not clear.
Voice is not clear. Okay. So is this audible to you? Yes?
Yes, sir.
Yes, I want to shout. So yes, so now this is the problem, that this is the source and auxiliary part, and this is the destination. So what you want to do is you want to take this from source and you want to insert in the destination. So that is the problem. And now coming to this, I am first moving the disk 3 to destination first, and second step what I am doing is moving the disk 2 to the auxiliary part. And third disk, I am moving the disk 3 to disk 2. And fourth thing, I am moving the disk 1 to destination. And sixth step, I am moving the disk 3 to source. Am I audible to you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
1 minute. So you're having this slide, right? You can visible the slide, right? Yes. The slide is visible, right?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So you can take with the slide, that will be fair enough for you. And you can see here the source was mentioned as this stand 1, and center part will be the auxiliary, and destination we want to move the disk 1, disk 2, disk 3 to the destination. So first step, in the step number 2, what I have done is I have moved the disk 3 to the destination. So this condition will be satisfied over here, right? So this condition will be satisfied. Move only one disk at a time. The larger disk cannot be replaced on the top of the smaller disk. All disks except the one being moved should be on the stand. So these 3 conditions has been satisfied when I am moving the disk number 3 to the destination. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes. And this third step, what I am doing is I am moving the disk number 2 to the auxiliary part. So in this stage also the 3 condition has been satisfied. So I am moving the disk number 2 to the auxiliary part. And in the fourth step, I am moving the disk number 3 to the auxiliary part, top of the disk number 2. So in this case also this condition will be satisfied. So I am moving the disk number 3 to the top of the disk number 2. And now coming to the fifth step, I am moving this disk number 1 to the destination part. So what will happen here? So what is the concept here is in the source. So what is the concept was here in the source is the disk number 1 first want to be come for the designation. The disk number 1 want to be come first in the designation. So here it was happened here. So the thing you no need to change the disk number 1 from the designation. So remaining 2 you want to interchange here. And in the sixth step, what I am doing is I am moving disk number 3 to the source and keeping this 3, 2, and 1. And now coming to the seventh step, what I am doing, I am taking the disk number 2 to in the top of disk number 1. In this also the condition will be satisfied. And in the eighth step, I am moving the disk number 3 to the top of the disk number 2. So here also the condition will be satisfied. Clear? If you are not clear, I will go with the board.
Clear, sir.
So if you are clear with this, then I will go with the regression algorithm. If you are not clear, then I will go with the board, because from there you are not getting the clear visible, I hope so. So the basic thing you have seen from step 1 to step 8, what the process has happened is you want to move the disk from stand 1 to stand 3 in the same order. So here 1, 2 and 3 is there in the stand 1. So in the final step, in the destination, the 1, 2 and 3 disk was allotted over here by following these 3 conditions. So this was happened in this. And first I am moving the disk number 3, and second I am moving the disk number 2, and fourth step I am moving disk number 3 in the top of disk number 2, and fifth step I am moving disk number 1 into the destination. It means the destination wants to start with the disk number 1, so it happened. So you no need to worry about the disk number 1. And here we want disk number 2 in the top of disk number 1. So I am moving the disk number 3 to the source and taking this 2 and putting in the top of disk number 1. And in final step, I am directly moving the disk number 3 to in the top of disk number 2. So this was happened here. So in this condition, so these all disks will come over here in the same order with following these set of rules. Fine. So if you are having any doubts, I will share the YouTube video of the aeronautical classes. You can see that classes also. So in that case, it will be very visible for them. So if you are having any doubts, you can see the YouTube videos also. So is there any doubt as of now?
Sir, on the rules, you can explain second point.
Second point, yes.
On the rules, sir, rules.
Rules. So second point, the larger disk cannot be placed on the top of the smaller disk. It means if you are placing the 3 in the top, and after that you can't able to place the second disk in the top of 3.
Okay.
So this is the condition. So you can see here all the if you in this case if you are going with the step 4, I am placing 2. I am placing 3 in the top of 2. It is correct. If I am placing 3 in the top of 2. 2 in the top of 3 don't be acceptable. So that was the second condition. The smaller disk want to be in the top, and higher disk want to be in the low level. Fine.
Okay, sir.
So no doubt. So now I will move with an algorithm. So same thing. So I already told that. So this is known as a recursive algorithm. You want to mention that clearly that this is known as recursive algorithm, not a usual algorithm. So some of the function we are using in this algorithm. So this is called as a recursive algorithm. That recursive function is called as repeatedly process. So repeatedly process algorithm has been used, and repeatedly recursive function has been used in this concept. So I am not going with the recursive function over here. So that you will study in a later topic also. So the thing for transferring from source to destination, lot of recursive process is there. So we are using the recursive algorithm. So you want to mention in this particular topic the algorithm named as recursive algorithm. Clear? Yes.
Yes, sir.
So before 3 topics, what we have discussed only an algorithm that was in a general English and general term. In this case, it won't be possible, but why? Because we are using the recursive algorithm, so we are going with the recursive function. So in the algorithm, first step, what I have written is HANAI disk, source, destination, auxiliary. So this is the function. HANAI is the function. So in this function, we are passing some of the argument. You just keep in mind, if you are a computer science student or non-computer science student, you just keep that in mind that in this condition, the HANAI is the function. We want to pass some of the argument to the function. Here we are passing the argument is disk, source, destination, and auxiliary. So what it means is, you see the diagram, the first step, it will be understand for you. So we having the disk over here, and the source has been passed, and auxiliary has been passed, and destination has been passed. So the particular function will depends upon these 4 arguments only. Apart from these 4 arguments, the function will not work any outside of the arguments. So this is the concept for passing those algorithms. If the case, the second point, if only one disk is there, then move disk source to the destination. If only one disk is given in your problem, if they are giving only one disk in the source, then you can move directly from source to destination. So that would be fine. If more than one disk, it means the third point, if more than one disk, recursively call Hanai. So recursively in the sense, it will be repeatedly you are calling this Hanai function with these arguments. The arguments will consist of, here the function recursively called Hanai function is being implemented. Here the arguments will be differ from that. So here disk 1, disk -1, source, auxiliary and destination. You can keep this in mind as, so first we are moving this number 3 to the destination. So what will happen, disk automatically -1, and you can write these three terms as it is in the pictorial representation, that is source, auxiliary and destination. So source, auxiliary and destination. So this was the recursive call function. How this function will work, I am not going in depth. For the exam point of view, you just remember these 3 steps and you can write in your exam point of view. Clear? Yes? Yes?
Yes, sir.
So why I am not going in the recursive function, it means the function will have a lot of functionalities over there with the passing the arguments and all. So if I am explaining that, then you will forget all those things whatever we discussed in the first unit. So that's why I am not keeping that in hold. We will discuss in the 4th and 5th unit the function topics. So on that time the recursive function will be there. So you can interrelate with these examples also. So before that I am giving you an exam point of view that first we want to declare the function that the problem is Hanai. So we are declaring Hanai as a function, and this in this function, what are the arguments we are using? That source, auxiliary, destination and disk. So these are the 4 types of argument. Apart from these 4 types, we are not using anything in this one problem. So we are initializing these 4 arguments over here. That is disk, source, destination and auxiliary. So coming to the second step, if only one disk is there, then move disk source to destination. If I am giving only one disk, then you can directly move from source to destination. There is no problem. If more than one disk, the recursively called Hanai function will be executed. So first step, what will happen is it will disk -1. First step, anyhow, we are going to take disk number 3. So disk -1 will happen there, and same order will be continuous over there: source, auxiliary and destination. So move disk from source to destination. First we are taking disk 1 and going with the source to destination. First we are moving from source to destination, and recursively called Hanai function is again executed. And here the disk 1 minus, so source will go to the last, and remaining will one step forward will be there. Disk -1, auxiliary, destination, and last thing it will be source. So this you want to remember these 3 lines for the Hanai function, and in case of any exam point of view, you just write the recursive algorithm topic, and you are declaring a function, and you are giving a condition, and you are executing these 3 lines by calling the recursive call Hanai function. Clear? Yes? Yes, I want to explain it again or not?
No, sir.
No.
No, sir.
Yes. So now coming to the algorithm, so that's what I have mentioned here. So these are the algorithm. These 3 steps want to be written in your papers, in your exam point of view. Don't worry about the function and all. So I will explain you when you are moving with the function concept. Clear? Now coming to the flow chart. So same that you are going to start with the start function, and the function will be represented like this. This is the function box. So in the flowchart, the function will be represented here, declaring the Hanai function. If disk equal to 1, print move disk to the source to destination. So it will happen if disk 1 is not equal, disk is not equal to 1, then the whatever three steps we are discussed, here, recursively we call HANA. So this is the one of this first line will be a function and last line will be a function. So this will be a process. Center line will be the process. So that only I was mentioned in the flowchart. So same thing that was mentioned in the flowchart. There is no deviation about that, because in the previous problem we have not written any operational in the algorithm part. So we will write only a general terms in an algorithm. So in this case we are going to return the operation in the algorithm part. Why? Because this is a recursive algorithm. So just keep that in mind. And same, the pseudocode will be there. In this pseudocode, some of the keyword if, else, end if statement will be using over here. So I will share with you, and in case of if you have any queries, then same class for the Aaron students I have taken the board itself, and I have posted in YouTube also. If you have any queries, you just go to the YouTube and you can see in the YouTube videos. That will be very fine. So the thing only, whatever I am explained you, that was explained in the board. In this case, the light's also having a problem and voice also having a problem. So that's why I'm not going with the board. If you want to go with the board, then I will proceed with the board presentation also. So make that one thing clear. So this stand 1, stand 2 and stand 3, we want to move all the disk from stand 1 to stand 3. So this is the problem. By using these three conditions, the step form has been described by using these three conditions. And for this, when coming to the algorithm part, in this problem we are using the recursive algorithm concept. That means recursive call function. So we are going with the function point of view. So first we are declaring the function HANA and giving the arguments as whatever the function will be in this problem, that we are giving an argument. So we having a disk over there, and source stand is there, destination stand is there, and auxiliary stand is there. Apart from this, there is no argument will pass to this particular program. So we are passing 4 arguments, and these 3 lines we want to be remember for the exam point of view. I am again telling that these 3 lines you want to be remember in the exam point of view. That is, first step what will happen is we will take the first disk from the stand. So that as mentioned as disk -1. So remaining arguments will be there, source, auxiliary and destination. So if you are taking the disk number 3 first, then you will put it into the destination directly. So disk number 3 is taken and directly put it into the destination. So that's what's mentioned here, first step, and it will process repeatedly by using the recursive call function till the destination part has fulfilled with those number of disks with these suitable conditions. So same thing, whatever we have discussed in the algorithm, I have written that in the flowchart also, and I have written the same codes in the pseudocode with using some of the keywords that was mentioned in the pseudocode. If, then, else, end if. These are some of the keywords that was used, that was not used in the algorithm. Clear about this?
Yes, sir.
If you are, I'm giving you 2 minutes time. If you are having any doubts, you just give me a text in a comment box, or else we will move with the next topic. The revision class will be on before the exam, so you don't worry about that. I am giving you a revision class before the internal exam. I hope so. The internal exam date has been announced to you, right? Yes. No. So I hope so. It was in December 28, 29, 30 and 31. I hope so. I had a news about that. 29, 30 and 31 is your internal exam. So in the 28th class, that means on Monday, we will have a revision class about the first unit and the second unit. Till that, whatever we are discussing. So no doubt about this. Yes. Okay. The screen is visible?
No, sir.
No. So it's now the screen will be visible, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So let me start with the second unit. So as of now, we have discussed some of the basic problem, algorithm, flowchart, pseudocodes, and some of the basic problems in those algorithm, flowchart, and pseudocodes and all. So now in the second unit, we are going in the coding part, that is Python. So before going to this, I want to have some of the input from you. That so basically from a computer science background students, can you tell me why we are preferring Python while we are having the codes like Java's, PHP, C and C++ and all?
It is the
It's
fastest
a free
language.
version.
Minimize its length, sir.
It's minimize the length, then it's a fastest language,
User-friendly.
user friendly. Yes, good. And one more thing, it will be there. You kindly
Free version.
keep that. Yes,
It's a free version.
it's a free version. Yes, good. So one more thing is there, one important thing will be there for a Python, that is a beginner language. It is called as a beginner's language. If you are not having awareness about C and C++, Java, it doesn't problem. The Python is being called as the beginner's language. If you are interested and going with the programming part, the most of them will choose the Python, because there is no predefined codes. Whatever the input you are giving, it will produce an output. Whatever function you are giving there, it will produce whatever the output you have required. So this is the basic thing, that is a user beginner language. So this is called as Python. So in this second unit, we are going to discuss about the Python interpreter, values and data types in this class. So this will be the basics over here. And this second unit, we are going to discuss data, expressions and statements. So what are the data you are going to use in the Python program, and what are the expressions that you are going to use, and some of the statements that we will discuss about. Some of the statement of Python we will discuss about in this unit. So as like that, in the first unit, we will have 2 or 3 illustrative problems in this second unit also. In this case, in first unit, you have done only flowchart, pseudocode and algorithm and all. In the second unit, we will go with the coding part. So for this illustrative problem, the data, expression and statements will be used over there. Clear? Yes. Data type need not to specify. Yes, Sanghavi, it will not to specify there. So these are the things, when compared to the C and C++, all those things want to be declared and specified, and a lot of codes, lines of code will be there. In Python, the lines of code will be very less when compared to the other things. So in the next slide, I will show you some of the codes between these programming languages. The screen is visible, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Can anyone tell me what this lines of code will actually happen? What will be the output?
Welcome.
So yes, the output will be a simple thing that the screen they want to print welcome. So that is the output of this particular program. So the 1 minute. So yes, so the welcome want to be printed, and this output they have written the program in C, C++, Java, and Python. So you can see this the lines of code, how the lines of code has been differ, and how the user friendly is Python. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes, when we are going with the C, we want to declare some of the header files, and you want to declare the function, and you want to declare the return statements, and you want to print something, and void main function want to be used, or this kind of things were happen in C, C++, and Java. So if you are coming to the second year, the second semester, then you will have a C, C++ programming paper, right? I hope so. So in that case, when you are thorough with the Python, then C, C++ will be very easy for you to study to and to write the program also. So this is the why a lot of programmers are choosing the Python to get their codes, and it will be implemented very easily, and it will be easy to find the error and rectifying the errors also. So clear? So why we are using Python? For this purpose only we are using this Python. So if you are not in a computer science background also, no problem. If you want to print any numbers or values, then you can directly go to the Python console. You can type print, and whatever message you want to be there, you can type that, and it will print the same message. Clear? Yes?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So now coming to the introduction. So Python is an interpreter. So Python is processed at runtime by the interpreter. You do not need to compile your program before executing it. So in this case and all C, C++, and Java, once you have written the program, you want to compile the program, and you want to check whether the error is there or not, and you want to run the program, and you will get an accurate result. So in this Python, you no need to compile those programs or lines of code. You directly run the program, and if it is executed, then it will produce the result. If it is not executed, and it will produce the error message in the particular line itself where the error is actually occurred. So second point, Python is an interactive. You can actually sit at the Python promote and interact with the interpreter directly to write the program. Yes, you can directly sit in the promote key. So in the Python application or a Python compiler, you can directly sit into the compiler, and you can execute the program. And Python is an object oriented. It means, so object oriented in the sense it will be related to one class to another class also. You can use the class functions, and you can derive the class function from one to another also. So Python is I have mentioned that the Python is a beginner language, so easy to learn and easy to maintain also. The source code will be very less when comparing to the other programming language, and it will be a portable. It can run any hardware platform, and small interface on all platforms. It will run on the all platforms. So, and majorly it will be a free and open source to you. So this is the first case that you want to look into it. So it will be a free also. Then the user design will be happening over there. The designing part will be done because of the Python also. So if you are going with the web page designing and all, the designing part will be played with the major role in Python with the use of Java and JavaScript. You heard about the JavaScript, right? If you are a computer science student, then you definitely you will heard about the JavaScript word. So what it means is, when you are going with the designing concept in a web page application and all, the JavaScript will play a major role, and in belonging to that, you are using the Python language in the script also. So these are the introduction, major introduction about the Python before going to the before going to the second unit. And now coming to the interpreter and compiler. So interpreter is to execute a program in high level language by translating it one line at a time. So what it will done is the interpreter will execute the program one line at a time. It will consider one by one line. If suppose you are having 10 lines of code, if you are having an error in the second line, it will not execute the third line. It will mention that you are having the second error in the second line. You want to clear those error and you want to write the program again. So likewise, the interpreter will display the message. And the compiler, it means to translate a program written in a high level language into a low level language at once in preparation of later execution. In this compiler, what will actually happen is it will execute all the lines that was mentioned in a program, and it will segregate the errors by line in the execution part. So if you are clearing those errors, then the program will be executed. So this is the one of the topic in the second unit, that is interpreter and compiler. These two will play a major role for the programmer before getting the appropriate output from the software. So now coming with the compiler take entire program as input, and intermediate object code is generated. So that we will discuss along with this. So you just keep this in difference between the compiler and interpreter. And control condition statement are execute faster. Memory requirement is more. Program need not to compile every time. Error are displayed after entire program is checked. So this is known as compiler. If you are having the C program awareness, before going to run the program, you want to compile all those things. And once the compiler is finished, only the output will be displayed. Now coming to the interpreter, it will take one by one line in your program. So no intermediate object code is generated. Conditional control statement are execute slower. Memory requirement is less. Every time higher level program is converted into lower level program. Error are displayed for every instruction, interrupted if any. So for this interpreter, the example will be the Python. So compiler, the example will be the C and C++. For interpreter, the example will be the Python. So if you are using the C and C++ program, after completion of your lines of code, you want to compile those lines of code and you want to execute the program. So that is the concept. You don't get in depth about this. And in the interpreter, you want to type all those lines and you want to execute, and the interpreter what will actually done is it will take line by line of your lines of code and it will produce the result. Produce the result or the error statements that depends upon your problems. And this is the working statement of the compiler and interpreter. The source code, what we have mentioned, what we have given is whatever the lines of code you are typing. Faculty details collection. So wait a minute. So sorry for the interruption over there. So yes, this is the. Am I audible to you?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So this is the compiler and interpreter, how it will work, and you can see the source code that will be your lines of code, and it will directly compile to the machine codes and it will produce the output. In the Python oriented part, it will directly interpreter, it won't convert it into the machine code. It will directly do the interpreter operation and it will produce the output. So this is the major thing between the compiler versus interpreter. So for this question, they are asking in a university exam in 8 months, that was January 2019, that you want to give a detailed description about the compiler versus interpreter. So what you want to do is you just write this diagram and you can explain by this differentiate part. That will be enough for them. So you can score easily 8 marks in your university exams also. Clear? Yes. I'm going faster, I hope so. Getting bored or confused? "36 were there and no one is responding. So is this getting bored or you are getting confused? So whether I'm going faster, if you are not telling anything, then I will go with the same situation.
Slightly confused, sir.
Slightly confused, yes. So in which part you are confused? So from till the Tower of Hana, you are clear, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes. For this compiler and interpreter, you got confused. So
Yes, sir.
simple thing, you just keep this in mind. So this and all you know not required. So in the interpreter and compiler, general thing you just keep that in mind. If you are writing the code in a compiler oriented application, that means C and C++. If you are writing 10 lines of code, then what it will do is it will take that source code and compile that into the machine code and it will produce the output. This is the work of a compiler, right? And what the interpreter will do is actually it won't generate it into the machine code, it will directly produce the output. So this is the difference between the compiler and interpreter. So that was I have mentioned here with some of the technical things over there. You just read out this and you will get a clear idea. But the major difference will be the source code will compile and it converted into the machine code and it will produce the output is known as the compiler. The source code will directly interpreter and it will produce the output is known as the interpreter. For compiler, the example will be C and C++, and for interpreter, the example will be the Python for compiling some of the lines of code.
For interpeller, can you explain one more time, sir?
So compiler, have you understand that?
Yes, sir.
So compiler in the sense, if you are going with the source code, it will compile that code into the machine code. The machine want to understand, right?
Yes, sir.
So it will compile that code into machine code, and after that, the machine will get into the process and it will produce the output. This is compiler. The interpreter, what it will done is it will not compile and convert it into the machine code. It will directly go to the machine code and it will produce the output.
Okay, sir.
By taking all the lines of code. So by taking line by lines of code in the interpreter, it will take line by lines of code. In compiler, it will take all the lines of code and it will convert to the machine code and it will produce the output. In the interpreter, it will take line by lines of each and individual code and it will convert it into the machine code in the interpreter and it will produce the output.
Yes, sir.
Sir, so Python is an interpreter language.
Right, Python is an interpreter language. So in this case, you no need to compile those things and all. You no need to compile each and individual code. You directly run the Python code and it will produce the output. So that was I have mentioned in I have given some of the lines of code in the first unit that if you are typing the code and giving the enter, then it will producing the result. In compiler, it doesn't work it out that you want to compile that code, and after that only the result will be displayed. Clear? Yes, so that will be enough in this session. So we will continue this remaining part in this presentation in the next class. So already you are getting confused and I am not going with this. So if you are having any doubts, you just give me a text in a comment box. If you are not having any doubts, give your attendance and you can move off. So definitely we will meet you on Monday. Clear? Haribalan was waiting there, right? For getting those words in my mouth. Yes, Haribalan. So you can give your attendance and move off. Thank you. If you are having doubt, just stay back, or else you can move off. Mohan Kumar Reddy, the YouTube link will be available in your Google Classroom. You just go with the YouTube link. It will directly access into the home page. Yes.